In particular, they blah 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 blah. That was attractive. Ugh. Can't talk. Bit of a messy segue. Hello everybody and welcome to Inside Number 23, my podcast which is all about knitting and sewing and my crafty life in general. My name is Katie and I'm coming to you as always from my home in Hertfordshire, which is just north of London in the UK, where I live with my husband Emrys and our little puppy Rolly. You can find me on all the various social medias, Instagram, Ravelry, Periscope as Miss Lavelli. And we also have a Ravelry group for the podcast, which you can find just by searching Inside Number 23 in the Groups tab on Ravelry. So do head over and join and get involved because there's a lovely, lovely group of people there, if I do say so myself. I want to start off by saying a big hello and welcome to both new and long-term viewers. Thank you so much for coming to spend a little bit of time with me. I really appreciate it. And it is episode number 32 this week. Feels pretty awesome to be at episode number 32 and yeah, we're coming to the end of August at last. I know that everybody is sad that summer is ending, but I have always have been and always will be an autumn baby, so I'm very excited about September coming. So generally everything's been pretty cool this week. Biggest news obviously as to what's been going on this week is that the Great British Bake Off started again on the TV. For those of you who don't know what the Great British Bake Off is, where have you been? Basically, it's a programme here in the UK on BBC, which is a baking competition, and each week a group of bakers bake a whole load of awesome stuff and one of them leaves, and it's one of my favourite programmes of all time, so I'm really excited that that started up again. It's making me want to get into the kitchen and bake lots of cakes and cookies and all kinds of good stuff, but yes, very, very excited that that's been back on television. I have been super busy at work again this week, so I feel like I don't have a huge amount of progress to share with you in terms of kind of new projects and that type of thing, but I have been kind of working away on the projects that I have, so I'm excited to share those with you. A little bit of admin before we get into all of the good stuff. We do have a sew along currently running in the Ravelry group, which is the Hollyburn sew along. I am sad to say that as yet I have not been able to post the newest tutorial of the sew along this week. I'm sorry guys, I have been really busy. I did upload an additional video this week. My monthly favourites went up. It was a really fun series that I'm really enjoying doing, so I decided to give a little bit more time to that video than the sew along stuff. I do have the video ready to edit, I just need to actually sit down and get that done, so hopefully within the next couple of days or so you will be getting some sew along updates. But all of the information can be found at the Ravelry group. It's been so much fun so far, and there are some people who have already finished their projects, which is really exciting. So thank you to everyone who's been getting involved, and yeah, check out the Ravelry group for more information. I want to start off this week with Owl Post, and yes, it's been a couple of weeks in a row that I've been having Owl Post. I've been extraordinarily lucky over the last week to get some really, really lovely things in the post, and I just wanted to share a couple of those bits with you. The owls have been busy, they've been working their little wings off. First of all, I got the most lovely parcel from Marsha of the Twitch and Stitch podcast. Marsha and I were basically paired up for a Christmas in July swap. I received Marsha's parcel. Terribly, I have still not sent her parcel out. I am a terrible, terrible person. And Marsha knows I've apologised. I'm going to apologise again, Marsha. I'm so, so sorry that it hasn't made its way out to you just yet. It will be extra special when it does arrive, I promise. To make me feel amazing for receiving it, but also super guilty because I haven't sent my parcel yet. My parcel has arrived from Marsha, and she was super naughty and actually spoilt me with this. Marsha just spoilt me rotten. I'm not going to show you absolutely everything that's in here because there is quite a fair bit, but I just wanted to share a couple of fun bits and pieces. The Christmas in July idea was that you would send each other a handmade Christmas themed something, and Marsha actually sent me this cute little jumper, which I think is so adorable. I really, really love it. That will definitely be going on the Christmas tree this year. Marsha sent me a collection of minis to go into my Cozy Memories blanket, and I love all of them. To be honest, particularly this one, which is all these beautiful autumnal colours. I really, really love it. And these ones are gorgeous as well. I'm so into green right now. Green is really, really doing it for me. And this one's all obviously multicoloured, but all kind of autumnal tones, which makes me really happy. So I love those. The box that she sent is absolutely stuffed with yummy treats and tea, and it smells amazing. But she also included, and for this, I just can't believe how generous you are, Marsha, just honestly, because but not one, not two, but 3 coordinating project bags, all of which have this lovely kind of seamstress fabric on them. They are glorious. I absolutely love them, and I just can't thank you enough, Marsha. They're beautiful. The last thing I wanted to share from the parcel is something that's particularly special because it's something obviously that Marsha has knit herself, and it is this amazing shawl. And if you can see, I believe it's a maple leaf. I can't kind of stretch it out fully for you to see, but it's the same colours that are in the mini that Marsha has included for me, and it's just this gorgeous autumn kind of coloured shawl, and I just think it's beautiful. When someone sends you something that they've knitted themselves, and you know as a knitter how many hours and how much love and work goes into something like this, it just makes it all the more special. So thank you, Marsha, for sending me something so special, and so I just can't even imagine how long this must have taken you. I mean, Marsha is a very speedy knitter, but it's so thoughtful. And considering that you know how much I love autumn, makes it even more thoughtful. So thank you so much. As if that wasn't enough, I actually received 2 other parcels in the post. And the first one was one that I had forgotten I was actually expecting, which is quite funny. And that was a prize from the Blanket Blitz Cal, which was hosted by my lovely friend Shannon. Hi, Shannon. Of the Etc. podcast. And I actually won a prize in the Blanket Blitz Cal. And I completely forgot that this was going to be coming in the post, and it turned up. And I'm so happy. It's absolutely adorable. The main part of the gift was some minis from Nikki Slip. And the minis are really, really lovely. And I actually think that Shannon has the same minis herself. So we're mini twinsies, Shannon. But I love these colours. They are so nice. And I can't wait to get them into my Cozy Memories blanket. I also got all kinds of other yummy treats and things in with that. Some stitch markers. But the thing that really, really touched me is that lovely Shannon sent some of her bags from her new shop. She recently, well, not so recently now, Shannon, I don't think, it's been a little while, opened a Etc. Etsy shop, and she kindly whipped up a couple of bags and sent them to me. And one of them is for me and one of them is for you guys. So I'm going to be keeping that for something special, keeping it to one side. This is the one that's going to be available as a prize. Has the most beautiful kind of mustardy yellow fabric at the top with this almost kind of denim style on the bottom with the happiest zip in the world. It's this amazing bright blue. And then flowers for days on the inside. It's gorgeous. The one I have decided to keep for myself is the kitty one. So it has the lovely yarn fabric on the top and then the little kitty dots on the bottom, along with obviously Shannon's label, the Etc. label. And the lining is just this hot pink. It's gorgeous. I love it so much. I'm going to put socks in it. It's going to be amazing, but it's so sweet. And it's just, again, having a friend make something specifically for you, it's just overwhelming how lovely that is. So thank you, Shannon. I'm so happy that it finally arrived, and yay! I can't wait to use your bag. It's going to be the best. The last parcel that I received this week was from somebody extra special that I want to talk to you a little bit about. I was contacted on Instagram by a viewer called Danielle. And Danielle has a company where she dyes yarn. She basically had been watching one of my previous episodes, and I had been talking about the fact that it sometimes makes me feel like there's a gap in the market in the UK when it comes to yarn, because it feels that in the States you guys have a huge amount of dyers who base whole collections on kind of pop culture references, so TV and film and music. There are some incredible dyers in the UK, don't get me wrong, but that kind of element of dyeing is a little bit more difficult to come by. I know that I was talking about my London House Yarns collection and how it's lovely that I've got Pokemon and Harry Potter colours from her, and I think that's great, but I didn't know of a huge amount of other UK based dyers who kind of base their yarns on pop culture references, which is something that I really love, so it's something that I'm interested in. So after watching that episode, Danielle got in touch with me and said, I agree with you, and I have a yarn dyeing company. Her company is called Mother of Pearl, and she dyes a selection of different colourways, but recently she has dyed up 2 colourways that are based on Suicide Squad. And if you've watched a couple of my previous episodes, you'll know that after seeing the film, I was very enamoured with it. I've started reading the comics. I am a big fan, basically, and I was so excited when she started talking about her colourways, and she said, may I send you some yarn for you to try? And I said, yes. That would be amazing. Thank you so much. And I got to be able to pick the colourway that I wanted. She has 2 different colourways, like I said, that are based on Suicide Squad. One of them is literally called Suicide Squad. And from what I can tell from the colourways, the green, the hot pinks and purples in this yarn is very much based on the kind of original poster art of the film. And I absolutely loved this yarn. I kind of lost my heart to it a little bit, but when I saw the other colourway that she dyed up, there was no way that I was not going to be asking for this yarn. The colourway is called Daddy's Little Monster, and if you get the reference, it is of course a Harley Quinn based yarn. It's based on the portrayal of Harley Quinn in the movie Suicide Squad, and here it is. So this is Daddy's Little Monster, which I received in the post this week. Lovely Danielle sent it to me. This is her label, and don't you just love her branding? It's amazing. I'm just going to show you the colours. So we've got the kind of the blue and the red, the classic Harley Quinn colours, but alongside that it also has this speckling with hot pinks and blacks and sky blues. I'm obsessed with this. She sent me the pictures, Danielle, of Suicide Squad colourway and this colourway, the Daddy's Little Monster, and as soon as I saw this I said, oh my goodness, that has to be a pair of socks. It has to be socks. And I said, in true Harley Quinn fashion, would it not be amazing if I knit up these socks, one with a red toe and a blue heel, and one with a blue toe and a red heel, like the whole kind of blue-red Harley Quinn kind of thing. And Danielle, after I kind of said that, was kind enough to include some mini skeins for me so that I actually can do coordinating and opposite heels and toes on my Harley Quinn socks. And it was so thoughtful to include those as well, Danielle, so thank you so much. But I mean, is this not just the best thing you've ever seen? Oh my goodness, it just makes me so happy. I just can't even handle how amazing all these colours are, and these socks I think are probably going to be the best socks ever. well, at least the best socks I've ever knit anyway, but I'm so happy. And all I can say, Danielle, is thank you. And guys, I would really, really recommend that you do check out her website. Her website is motherofpearl.co.uk. I was reading kind of a little bit more about her on her website, and basically the name Mother of Pearl comes from the fact that Danielle is a mother herself, but she is also a foster carer, so she looks after other people's children, which I just think is incredible. So the name kind of reflects what she does in her life. This kind of imaging is a recent rebrand that she's been going through, which I love. I think it's so cool. It looks really, really cool. And I think that recently for Danielle, there's been a bit of a kind of reawakening of the love of her business and the love of dyeing yarn. And if this colourway and the other colourways that I've seen on her website are anything to kind of go by, you can tell that she's loving what she does. And I just think, you know, it just shows. It shows in the product. I can't wait to use this. So do check her out if you are a fellow Suicide Squad or Harley Quinn fan. I can tell that you're going to love this colourway. But yes, head over to her website and follow her on Instagram, and generally just love her to bits because she's awesome. Thank you so much, Danielle. You made my week with these. So moving on from yarny goodness onto me actually using yarn to make stuff with yarn. Basically, it's time for What's on My Needles, the knitting segment of the podcast. And like I said, this week, I don't feel like I've made a huge amount of progress on my projects. I don't feel like I have anything super impressive to share with you, but I have been working on 2 projects. Both of them are sweaters. Both of them are old projects. There's no finished objects this week, only works in progress. And the first one is, of course, my Chuck sweater. Now, I'm not going to lie, Chuck has been neglected this week. When I last showed you Chuck, which is, of course, a pattern by the incredible Andi Satterlund, who is a genius, and I love her patterns. I love this pattern. There it is again. Say hi. Hi, Chuck. Chuck, you're awesome. I had basically finished my first sleeve. There it is. It's a beautiful sleeve. And I was just about to cast on the second. This week, I have started the second sleeve. But as you can see, I have not made a huge amount of progress. I've basically started doing the short rows of the second sleeve, and I just love this pattern, you guys. I hadn't picked this up for quite a while because I've been completely and utterly distracted by my other project, which I'll be sharing in a minute. But every time I work on this, it just is such a joy. And this is a worsted weight yarn. It's a worsted weight cropped sweater. Isn't it amazing? So it grows very, very quickly. The yarn that I'm using is, of course, Knitpicks in the worsted weight, which was out of my kind of frogged project, so I'm still working from little kind of scrappy bits of yarn, and it's in the Cadet colourway, but I just really love it, and the idea of it cooling down a little bit soon so that I can wear this is making me extremely happy. The love is definitely still there. I am still feeling the love when it comes to my Chuck sweater. My next work in progress is living in my Yarn Seller Studios bag. Yes, I moved my my other sweater, which is my Sophie sweater, into my new Yarn Seller Studios bag, and you guys, this bag is everything. I love it so much. I've been using it a lot more like a yarn bowl, which is not something that I usually do with my bags. But if you'll remember when I talked about this last week, I was talking about how beautiful the lining fabric is. It's this kind of bat print. So I have been folding down the top of the bag so that I can see my ghastly print, my bat print, and the lovely pink zip all the way around. And yeah, it just sits on the tabletop like that as I knit away, and I love it. I absolutely love it. It's just everything. So yay, Yarn Seller Studios. Check them out. They have incredible bags. And of course, my Sophie cardigan is living in here. And I have made a fair bit of progress on this in this past week. So since I showed it to you last, I have completely separated for the sleeves. So my sleeves are now on holders, both of them. Awkward. And I'm now basically just working on the body of the cardigan. So backwards and forwards in the cable patterns. It's slightly easier actually to work on it now that it's like this because there are less stitches involved, because I'm no longer knitting the sleeves and it's missing out 2 whole panels of the kind of the lace cabling that goes through the entire cardigan. So I'm finding it a lot quicker. It is growing quite fast, as you can see. This is my back panel. I mean, look at that pattern. Is it not just the best thing you've ever seen? I'm gonna hold it over my face because I think that the lighting is slightly better for you to see all the details, but it's amazing. And then of course I have one of the front panels here and the other front panel here. Isn't it gorgeous? So yes, it's a pattern by Jennifer Wood. I am knitting it with John Arbon, their Viola yarn. This is in the Aquarius colourway. It's DK weight. I'm still just as much in love with this as I have been the last couple of weeks. This yarn is incredible to work with. It's 100% merino and I just can't get enough of it. It's beautiful. It's so much fun to work with because it feels so smooth and buttery under the fingers. And I'm also using my favourite needles. These are my interchangeable higher sharps, and they are a 3.5mm US 4 size. And everything about this project just makes me happy. If I'm having a bit of a bum day, I just come home at the end of the day, sit down and do a couple of rows on this, and the world just seems like a better place. It's really, really enjoyable. And I can tell this is going to be kind of a go-to garment because it is DK weight. It is quite thick and it's very warm. I can tell it's going to be a really, really warm garment. So I think it's definitely going to be more of a winter thing as opposed to autumn. But that doesn't bother me because I live in the UK, you guys. It gets cold here. It's cold for about 80% of the year. So yeah, I think I'll get a fair amount of wear out of it. I love it. It is so much fun to work on. To be honest, that's why I've neglected my Chuck sweater, because I'm getting so much joy out of working on this that I just don't want to work on anything else right now. I want to work on this and get it finished and have a lovely cardigan. But I do think that in the next week I am going to spend more time on my Chuck sweater before I allow myself to work on the cardigan, because it's so close to being finished now. I just really want to have the finished object. I want it to be done and I want to block it and I want it to be all ready to wear in autumn. And I tend to get distracted by newer projects rather than finishing old ones. So I'm going to make a more concerted effort to actually finish Chuck rather than just spending time with Sophie, even though Sophie is where my heart is at the moment. Not that I don't love Chuck, because I do. It's just that I really love Sophie as well. And that's everything in terms of what I've been knitting on. Like I said, it's not a huge amount, but I do feel that I've made quite a dent in the Sophie cardigan, and that's where all of my time has kind of been swallowed up. I really did want to spend some time working on my Cozy Memories blanket, but yeah, I've been distracted by garments. It's all about garment knitting at the moment. Garments in general, making them has been completely filling pretty much my every waking hour at the moment. With the Hollyburn sew along, working on that. I have actually completed one of my Hollyburn skirts already. So that has been amazing, and finishing something has made me really, really just want to make all the things. And that basically brings us on to my next segment, which is So What? Yes, you guys, we're having a kind of mini So What segment this week. It has been a bit MIA over the last couple of weeks because I haven't had time to sew. And before you get excited, I haven't sewn anything new. I'm not going to be showing you one of my completed Hollyburn skirts this week because I want to do a big kind of show and tell about that after the sew along has finished. But all of this making of new things, like I said, has started me kind of getting itchy feet when it comes to sewing. I want to work on some new things, so I've got a little bit of a project in mind. As you may or may not know, myself, my lovely husband Emrys, and our family, we are going on a holiday. I'm so excited. Honestly, it's been years since we've gone abroad, and this is So exciting because we are going to Florida. We're going to Disney World, Universal Studios, not going to SeaWorld for personal reasons, but that's a whole other topic. But that is going to be happening at the end of October and the beginning of November. So we will be in Florida over Halloween, which I'm so excited about because I love Halloween. I'm obsessed. And that's actually going to be mine and Emrys's 7-year anniversary of being together, because we went on our first date on Halloween, and then 2 days after that will be our 2-year wedding anniversary. So it's all going on basically. But what I realised is that I actually don't have that many garments that would be usable when we're on holiday. So for example, I have a lot of t-shirts. I'm good for t-shirts, and I have a couple of skirts, but I know it's going to be quite warm and I don't have many shorts. I'd like to maybe have a couple of summer dresses that I can just easily throw on and wear. And so I decided that September is hopefully, fingers crossed, going to be Sewing Central. Sewing Central September. Ideally, I hope to get quite a few projects done so that I can have a nice wardrobe of things to take away with me on holiday, but I'm also trying to make garments that I can easily integrate into an everyday wardrobe as well. One other thing that I wanted to bear in mind when I'm making these things is that I want to use as much stash fabric as possible. I love going out and buying fabric as much as the next person, but as you can see, I have quite a large array of fabrics. I have some fabrics down here as well that you can't really see. I have a lot of fabric, and it's about time that I start breaking into the stash rather than automatically running down to a fabric store and buying new things just because I'm a magpie and the pretty things make me excited. So I just wanted to talk you through a couple of bits and pieces that I am hoping, fingers crossed, to be working on in September. Bear in mind, you should take all of this with a pinch of salt, because I tend to completely overestimate what I'm capable of making, and the chances are I won't be able to get all of these things finished. But this is an ideal world situation, as in I have enough time and enough energy to do all of these things, and that would be perfect. But let me show you what I'm going to be working on. So like I said, one of the things that I really wanted to make for myself would be a pair of shorts. And since making the denim version of my Hollyburn skirt, I realised that I'd managed to do so much kind of fabric management that I have quite a lot of yardage still available of the denim that I made my skirt in. And I decided that a pair of denim shorts is a classic. You can't really go wrong with denim shorts. So I was looking through some of my patterns, some of my pattern books, and in Gertie Sews Vintage Casual, Gertie Sews Vintage Casual, put my teeth in before I talk, I found this pattern, which is the sailor shorts. It's a variation on one of the other patterns that's included in the book. Basically, you just have to kind of fiddle around with a couple of details and you can create these sailor shorts. And I thought those would just be so cute in denim. I think the shape is quite flattering as well. They're high-waisted, they're not too short, they're not like booty shorts or something like that. I'm not really feeling the booty short look for myself. But I thought that would be a lovely pattern to make with denim if I can kind of manage to get enough parts out of the fabric that I have. But when I was going through my stash, I also found something that would be a little more daring but pretty exciting, and that is this bright red cotton sateen fabric. Now I bought this quite a long time ago and I can't even remember what I originally purchased it for, but cotton sateen is basically cotton that has elastane into the weaving process. They add elastane, so you get a kind of stretchy fabric. It's really a one-way stretch fabric. It only stretches on one side of the grain and not the other, but for close-fitting garments it can be incredibly flattering. Plus it's easy to cut, it's easy to sew because it's quite thick, and it's really good for something like a tighter short because it has a lot of structure, but it's still very comfortable because, like I said, it's got the elastane in it. I think I could handle a pair of bright red sailor shorts. I think I could pull that off. And so yeah, ideally it might be one, it might be two pairs of shorts, but I think that's pretty cool. Along the lines of separates, there are a couple of tops that I'm interested in making as well. Like I said, I do have a lot of t-shirts which are really nice, really comfortable, but I wanted something maybe a little bit different to kind of interchange with the t-shirts that I already have. And I found in my stash this pattern, which was sent to me by the lovely, lovely Twee of the Twisted Stitches podcast. So hi Twee, look, got your pattern. This is actually a 3-piece collection. Again, it is by Gertie. You can tell I'm a little bit obsessed. I've got all of her books. I love her patterns, but I'm interested in making the halter top from this pattern, which is really, really sweet. It has basically a sweetheart neckline, a halter strap, and it's very figure hugging. And I just thought when it gets hot, this would be a really nice thing to wear. Plus I can mix it up by pairing it with different skirts, with shorts, so it would give me a lot of variety. I have enough of the red fabric, of the red sateen, to probably make a matching halter and shorts. I don't know whether I would wear them together, but you can always mix and match with other things, so I would probably do a red version. But I also have a lot of yardage of white cotton sateen as well. So exactly the same fabric as the red cotton sateen, just in white. And I thought a simple halter top structured in this fabric, again, would look really, really cute and fresh. The other top that I have been dying to make for the longest time is, of course, the Agnes top by Tilly and the Buttons. I've talked about this on the podcast before. This comes with all kinds of different variations in terms of sleeve length and neckline. And I do have some stripy fabrics just here. Some stripy jerseys, which I think would look really, really cute in both of these designs. So some simple t-shirts maybe in the works. There are 2 other sewing projects that I would really, really like to get done soon. One of them is holiday based again, so I'm going to start with that. And I know you guys are going to think I'm obsessed, but it is from the Gertie Ultimate Dress Book. I'm like a Gertie advertisement this week, I really am. And the dress that I'm interested in is actually this one on the cover. This is just the most beautiful dress in the world. Basically, the way the Gertie's Ultimate Dress Book works is that she has a variety of different pattern pieces for bodices, for skirts, for sleeves, for collars, that type of thing. And you can combine each one of these pieces with others because they're pretty much fully interchangeable to create your own kind of style of garment. And this one is combining a box pleat circle skirt with a strapless bodice. And this has obviously a sweetheart variation on the bodice. I just thought this would make the most adorable kind of summer dress. And the one thing that's slightly lacking in my wardrobe at the moment is kind of girly summer dresses. I used to have a lot of them, but my weight's been changing and a lot of those aren't fitting me as well as they used to. And more than anything, I don't want to force myself into something that's uncomfortable. I want to wear something that fits well and something that's fun. And considering that we're going to Disney World, I thought a really kind of funny print dress would just be the best thing when I'm walking around Disney. And I remembered that in my stash, I have some fabric that I honestly didn't know if I would ever use it because it is so silly and over the top. I really didn't know if I would be able to pull it off. And in getting it out, I've just destroyed the rest of my stash, but that's fine. But the fabric is this. I have a huge amount of yardage of this. I can't, again, remember what I was going to make with it, but it is kind of ridiculous. It's covered in these little kids eating ice cream, eating sweets, little puppies with sweets. And I just thought, how fun would it be to make a silly sundress, a silly summer Disney sundress in this print of fabric? It would just be ridiculous and fun to wear. So that is kind of in the works as well, a fun summer dress in ridiculously kitschy fabric because, you know, why not? I am going to be, like I said, in Disney around Halloween, and I don't know if we'll be kind of Disney bounding or kind of being dressed in costume because I know that they have a lot of restrictions around costumes for adults in Disney, particularly around Halloween. I need to look into it basically, but I thought even if I don't end up kind of dressing up more or even Disney bounding. I want something fun and over the top that I can flounce about in. So yeah, that is definitely in the works. The other pattern that I am wanting to work on is one, again, that I've shared with you previously. It's by Deer and Doe, and it is this beautiful, beautiful dress. It's called the Robe Bleuet, which I've probably completely massacred in my pronunciation of it, but it's stunning. I love it so much. And the reason that I'm bringing this out again is that, as I keep saying on the podcast, it is my birthday in September. My birthday is the 30th of September, the last day of September, and I have tried over the last couple of years to make a dress for my birthday every year so that I have something nice to wear, and I would love it if I was able to get this finished in time for my birthday. The fabric that I have picked out for this is this fox print fabric that I bought from M is for Make, which I absolutely love. I think it is beautiful. I'm a little bit tight for yardage, I think, when it comes to this dress, but I'm pretty sure I could wrangle it by perhaps making a couple of the pieces in a contrasting colour. So I was thinking about making a white collar for it with white cuffs, which I thought would be really cute, which would basically help with yardage issues. Again, all of this is kind of pie in the sky dreaming. I don't know if I'm going to have anywhere near enough time to get any of these garments finished in time for my birthday, in time for my holiday, but I think it's nice to think about what you would like to do and start putting plans in action. I'm definitely going to try and finish at least one pair of shorts and a halter top, and if I can only get one dress done, I would much rather get my birthday dress done than anything else. So those are the kind of the front runners, but you never know. I might be able to crank out all kinds of things. It's just exciting. I'm excited. All my creative juices are flowing when it comes to sewing, and that's just a really, really nice place to be. So for those of you who have been missing my Sew What segment, believe me, you guys, there is going to be more coming up. Please don't worry, and I've missed it just as much as you have, so yay, sewing time! Oh, so I've had a little reorganise. I put a couple of things away, trying to keep things neat, and we're going to move on now to the next segment. And this is a segment that I am incredibly excited to be able to share with you, because this segment is brand new, you guys, brand new for this episode. I'm introducing a new segment. It's something that I have been wanting to do for a while, and it's basically a reviewing segment. Yay! I have been lucky enough to have a couple of different people get in touch over the last couple of weeks asking me to review different things for them, and it's something that I've wanted to do, like I said, for a little while. I would just like to say, if there's anyone else out there who would like me to review something for them, then please feel free to get in touch. Direct message me on Ravelry or Instagram and I should reply relatively quickly. But without further ado, let me introduce this segment, which is called Reviewing the Situation. And in case you didn't get it, that is a musical theatre reference. So yeah, big thumbs up for that. So for my first ever Reviewing the Situation segment, I am going to be reviewing Stranded magazine, in particular their mild weather edition for 2016. Now, I was contacted by Erin Burnell, one of the creators of this magazine, to see whether or not I would be interested in reviewing it. And the funniest thing is that literally just a couple of days before, I had seen an Instagram post about Stranded magazine, and I made a kind of mental note that I would definitely need to look that up more in the future. And then I promptly forgot about it. But then when I got Erin's message, I was super excited that she basically wanted me to take a look at the magazine. It is a collaboration between three lovely ladies, Erin herself, her friend Monica Kirby, and dun dun dun, Andi Satterlund, who is of course the incredible designer of my Chuck sweater, which is one of the reasons why Erin thought I would be interested in the content of the magazine, as I'm such a huge fan of everything that Andi does. The company is Seattle based and the magazine at the moment is entirely digital. This is the second edition. They had a warm weather edition that came out in summer, and they will be having a cold weather issue, which will be coming out later this year. It's tri-annual, so each year you will have these three different installments of the magazine. First of all, aesthetically, this magazine got me from the minute that I saw the cover. The photography is incredible, the layout is incredible, the styling is incredible. Granted, it may be because as this is a mild weather edition, it is very much based in the kind of autumn genre. And as you know, I'm a huge autumn fan. All of the colours were kind of speaking to me. It's just stunning to look at. And even better than that, the substance is there in terms of everything that you get in the magazine. You get a selection of patterns. There are 7 different knitting patterns in here, which I will talk about in just a minute. But in addition to that, you also have some tutorials, a couple of articles, a featured article, and then a segment which is called Something Different. In terms of the featured article, there is an interview with the spinners behind the Spin Cycle yarns. There's also an article called To Knit To, which is all about the different designers of the patterns, recommending TV programs or music or books or films that they have been watching, reading, listening to whilst they have been creating the designs and whilst they've been knitting. There was a Finding Colour article that was great. They had some tutorials included. The tutorials I found really fascinating because it had 3 needle techniques included with a full set of images to show you exactly how to do. There was a 3 needle bind off, an alternative 3 needle bind off, and then also a pleated technique that you can use using 3 needles. And it was incredibly clear. But the Something Different segment was, I think, really what did it for me in terms of thinking this magazine is really something special. That was where we had 2 different segments within the magazine. One of them was cross-stitch basics, but it also included a really nice cross-stitch chart, which I thought was lovely. And then it also included a blackberry cake recipe, which looked so delicious. The pictures, I tell you, the pictures in this will make you just die because they are so amazing. But the blackberry cake looked amazing and I want to make it right now. There was an option to make it gluten-free or to do it with gluten, so it's very inclusive. Again, these little touches are what make this magazine really special as far as I'm concerned. So putting aside the fact that it's a really good read, it's really aesthetically pleasing, all of the details are there, put all of these things to one side, which are all amazing and I'm singing their praises as I go. And let's talk about the patterns in this magazine. These patterns just completely blew me away. Genuinely, it's very rare that I find a publication that appeals to me pretty much across the board in terms of the patterns that they create, but these patterns, you guys, are amazing. 7 patterns are included and they are basically for changing seasons, that intermittent time between summer and winter, and the collection is called Get Cozy. A little disclaimer before I go into this. This is the point where I'm probably going to horribly mispronounce something, so I apologise for that. Either the names of the patterns or the names of the designers are probably going to come out wrong, so apologies. First of all, there is a pattern called Sky Comish, which is a kind of cowl / hood. It's done in a sport weight. It was designed by Lee Meredith. And the fun thing about this is that the 3 needle pleating technique that was dealt with in the tutorials in the magazine is actually included in this pattern. Second up was Elwa, which is a worsted weight raglan cabled sweater. All things that are ticking boxes for me, like amazing. And it was by Alexa Ludeman. Third is Twisp, and next to my notes I have written a huge heart next to this. This is a pattern by Emily Wessel. It's a colourwork hat in sport weight yarn, and I'm not usually a big lover of hats. I love wearing them, but I wouldn't necessarily spend time knitting them. This hat is everything. It makes me smile, it makes me happy, but it's beautiful. I love it. The 4th pattern is called Salal. And this one is by Andi Satterlund. And so you're probably going to know how much I love it. It is a cardigan. It has this beautiful lace yoke. It again is in a worsted weight. Thank you, Andi, for making such delicate, beautiful things in worsted weight yarn, because they knit up so quickly and yet they still look beautiful and delicate. You're a magician. I don't know how you do these things. And I love it. That's pretty much all I can say. 3 more patterns. There is Gilia, which is by Corey Ellen Boberg, And these are cabled leg warmers in a DK weight. They have this kind of cherry pattern going down the leg, and they're done in this bright red yarn, which is really, really appealing to me. We have another sweater, but this is Lateral, which is by Ruth Garcia Alcantar'd. And it's a cabled sweater again, quite a simple repetitive cable down the front of the sweater in a sport weight, and it's designed to be kind of knit with positive ease. So it's really cuddly and snuggly and it looks beautiful. Finally is a pattern by Erin, lovely Erin Burnell, and it's called Tupshin, and it's the most beautiful pair of socks in the world. These socks include a lace motif, colour work, they are done cuff to toe, and the picture of these, the colour scheme that's been used, just makes my heart sing. I think they are beautiful. And incidentally, I know that the Stranded ladies are actually going to be holding a knit along for this sock pattern, which you should totally get involved with. Follow them on Instagram and or go to their Ravelry group. It's starting on September 1st. Out of all of the patterns, I was kind of thinking, what would be my top 3? You've probably guessed from the way that I talk about them what my top 3 would be, and that would be the Twisp hat, the colourwork hat. Like I said, not usually a hat knitter, but this has completely stolen my heart, and I want one so much, and I pretty much want it in the colourway that's pictured as well, which is basically what happened as well with my second top choice, which was Andi Satterlund's cardigan, the Salal green cardigan. All I could think of when I saw this was, I need that cardigan in green because it looks kind of like a retro Poison Ivy, and that can only be a good thing, and I need that. And of course, the Tupshin socks were a huge, huge favourite of mine as well. I'm thinking in a way that I might modify the pattern slightly and possibly use my Harley Quinn yarn. Possibly, because the cable pattern kind of looks like little diamonds, like little Harlequin diamonds. That's something to think about. So in case you haven't gathered, I am pretty much in love with Stranded magazine. I think that it's incredible. I can't wait for the next edition to come out. I will most definitely be purchasing the next edition of Stranded magazine. I really, really respect how much love and time and care has been spent on utterly every aspect of its design. I would thoroughly recommend that you go and check out Stranded Magazine's website. It's strandedmag.com, and follow them on Instagram, which is stranded_mag on Instagram. So do please check them out, follow them. Absolutely incredible, talented, lovely ladies. Obviously, guys, the lovely ladies at Stranded did send me a copy of this magazine to review, but my opinions are entirely my own, and I would not be singing the praises of this magazine if I didn't genuinely think it was something very, very special. And to close off this segment, quite excitingly, the lovely ladies of Stranded, in addition to sending me a copy of this magazine, have also said that you guys can have one. They have sent one for a giveaway. All you have to do to stand the chance of winning a copy of Stranded magazine, the mild weather edition, is subscribe to my channel, head over to my Ravelry group, join the Ravelry group, and then leave a comment on the Stranded giveaway post answering the following question: which one of these patterns do you love the most and why? And it will be difficult, guys, because they are all beautiful, and I know that you'll probably want to say that you love all of them, but try and tell me exactly which one is the most special to you. So yes, subscribe to my channel, join my Ravelry group, post in the tab, and next week I will announce the winner of who has won a copy of this incredible magazine. All I can say to close off this segment is thank you so much to Erin for getting in touch with me. Thank you to the whole team of Stranded for producing such a beautiful magazine, and I cannot wait for the next issue to come out. Yay! That was awesome. Yay for new segments. I really, really enjoy reviewing things. But for the last bit of the podcast, it is time, of course, for General Waffle. General Waffle, where I get to kind of waffle on at the end of my podcast about anything I particularly please. And this week, because I knew that I'd have a lot of other stuff to talk about, I decided to keep it short and sweet for General Waffle. So I decided what would be fun and a little bit silly just to close out what I think has been a really fun episode and I've really enjoyed this week, would just be A little 5 things that you may not know about me. Number 1, you probably know from watching this podcast that I am a huge horror film junkie. However, this is not something that has always been the case. Up until the age of about 23, 24, I was utterly terrified of anything even vaguely scary. I would have nightmares, I would have panic attacks, I would get anxiety attacks when I thought that I might be expected to watch something scary with someone else. It was awful. And then one day, everything changed. Pretty much overnight, I was kind of not scared anymore. Not scared of scary films. And it's got to the point now where it's genuinely my favourite genre. Yeah, I love horror films now. Random. Fact number 2. You know when you're a kid and you kind of get crushes on guys in films and things? You know when you get your first crush. I had one of those as a child. But my first ever kind of movie star crush was on Jack Skellington from The Nightmare Before Christmas, which I know is pretty weird, but to be perfectly honest, it's just because I thought that Sally was awesome and I pretty much just wanted to be her, and you know, Jack Skellington is kind of her boyfriend, and also the dulcet tones of Danny Elfman just did it for me. So yeah, I had a big old crush on Jack Skellington. Fact number 3. In addition to being scared of scary films, I did have quite a lot of phobias as a child. But most of them have kind of dropped off as I've moved into adulthood. But the one thing that really, really still freaks me out is heights. I cannot handle being high up. I feel like I'm going to pass out. It's awful. So yeah, heights are probably my biggest fear. Fact number 4. I am pretty much a social recluse. I love kind of being by myself. I love being at home. I am such a homebody. I think sometimes if I didn't have to go out to work, that I'd pretty much just squirrel myself away inside number 23. It's probably where the name of the podcast came from, because when I'm inside number 23, I am pretty much in my happiest place ever. I love being here. I love spending time at home. Much rather be at home than anywhere else. You know, rock and roll. Fact number 5. So Emrys and I have been together for nearly 7 years now, which is pretty exciting. I'm pretty happy about it. I think he's a keeper. You know, I'm pretty sure he's the one. But a funny thing that you may not know about me is that before Emrys, I had never been in a relationship. I had never had a boyfriend. I'd been out on a couple of dates with people, but to be honest, people just didn't get my weird, I guess. Pretty much happy just on my own and acceptant of the fact that that would probably be me. And then I met Emrys, and 7 years later, he not only gets my weird, he encourages it. So yeah, I think it proved to me that it doesn't matter what the majority of people seem to think of you. If you can find a couple of people or one special person who gets you, that's all you need. So that is everything this week, you guys. Thank you again for listening to me rambling on for another week. If you've liked the video, please like it down below. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to be kept up to date as to when I've got new videos. I'm trying to post more content regularly, but you'll always be guaranteed a podcast every Monday. I hope you all have an incredible week filled with knitting and sewing and other general crafty goodness. For now, you know that I love each and every one of you. Happy sewing, happy knitting, and I will see you all again soon. Bye! Hey, Rowley. Do you have any thoughts on the podcast this week? Everyone wants to know if you're feeling better. Are you feeling better? Yeah, you are. Good boy. He's just a pug in love with his ball. I think you're okay, aren't you? You daft dog.